Let's jump into a text breakdown that happened on Bumble. The girl responds to the prompt, what would you do on a rainy Sunday? We then come back and said, whiskey wouldn't hurt either. She said, what about a cup of tea in the afternoon, whiskey at night? So she's kind of implying that we could do both, which is pretty positive sign. So he then comes back and says, you read my mind, blank. Sounds like a great first date. She says, let's check when it will be raining. So the girl's already agreeing to meeting up for a date. It is really soon in the text combo though, so my advice at this point would be just vibe a little bit, get to know her at least a little bit more, and then we could move the conversation right back towards the idea of the meetup, which is what happens. He takes this line from the vault, which is, in the meantime, give me the basics. Any kids, tattoos, fun kinks, crazy hobbies? She says, new to the area, just arrived for a month. I'm a long journey trail runner before I relocate to UK from Hong Kong. I don't have any crazy hobbies, but love to have a crazy life. What about you? Any interesting story of you? What's a long journey trail runner? He says. No kids, 6 tats, and I play guitar in a band, read, write, gym, and run too. So he keeps it pretty brief, but still telling the girl some characteristics about herself. She says, I usually train for the long journey trail race above 50 km. She says, nice profile. So then he comes back and says, that's pretty impressive. How'd you get into that? Which is just like some regular get to know you talk, which is okay from time to time in moderation, but you don't want to continuously just hit her with these boring logical question answer type conversation. A little bit of it is okay as filler, but periodically in between we want to be sprinkling bursts of emotional spikes and teasing and flirting. So she then says, I tried some short race and joined some running club, then found that I love long journey, so I started to find some race to practice with my coach, but now I only can practice with myself, still finding a way back into training though. So he says, I definitely prefer the long distance, but I've only gone as far as a half marathon so far. I've been meaning to join a running club too, actually. A little bit of back and forth, just connecting on the hobby. But my thoughts is that in the next 1 or 2 messages, if we continue to talk about these things, we're gonna need to move it towards the idea of us doing the activity together. So she says, I love long journey. Put myself totally in the nature from sunrise to sunset. That's incredible. Wondering if I could try this in the UK. At which point he comes into the instant response feature. This is the message we crafted to him. Definitely some beautiful spots I could show you in the UK. Like I was saying, we're talking about an activity, girls enjoying the activity as well, or at least like responding positively to us talking about the activity. At some point in the upcoming messages, you need to bring it to the idea of us together doing that activity. It's the easiest way to just move the interaction forward. So she comes back and says, I found Peak District is not far from the city. Have you been there? He then comes back into the instant response feature again, and this is the message we crafted him was, yeah, been there a few times, beautiful place. Maybe that can be our second date. So now again here, he's using callback humor because they already discussed the first date idea, and he's saying, maybe that could be our second date, which is great too. If you're already seeding multiple ideas of meetups with the girl and she's agreeing to all of these things, I mean, the phone number exchange is gonna be inevitable at this point. So she comes back and says, I would be very happy about that. So boom, we already have a first and second date seeded, and girls agreeing, saying she would be very happy about all of that. So you can see why this is like really powerful texting so far. He then comes back into instant response feature again. At this point, the girl's already been agreeing. We've already seeded 2 different date ideas, and she's saying she'd be really happy about doing those things. All you really need to do at this point is just move the interaction towards the idea of the meetup. So that's what we told him to do. We said we should probably organize the first one before that though, talking about the first date. Do you like wine? Girl says yes, and black coffee without sugar and milk. You? Coffee or tea? Now, it could have been easy to get carried away with like the side conversation that she was bringing in at this point, but when you're in the closing sequence and the girl's already responding positively and it's moving along, that's all you need to do is just keep going forward. He came back in an instant response feature again. We didn't even respond to her side conversational thread. We just kept going down the line of the close, which is we should split a bottle sometime soon, right? We didn't go into, oh, I love coffee or tea, or like, do you like boba tea, or like, what kind of coffee do you like? It's like we're already talking about wine. She said she likes the wine. We don't even need to answer the other side. We just stay on track, which is next message. We should split a bottle sometime soon. And look, the girl doesn't even skip a beat. She comes right back and says, yeah, we can have wine. You can tell me more about any of your favorite wines too. And then one more time in the instant response, since we're already helping him this much, we kind of just crafted the last like close out of this closing sequence, which is simply just moving it one step forward again in baby steps. Sounds good. Shoot me your number and we'll organize it. From there, the girl send the message. And at that point, you could just text her outside of the dating app and then keep it going from there. That's the breakdown to go from the moment you match on the dating app, how to start moving the interaction forward, connect on an activity that you guys like to do together, and then seeding date 1, date 2, getting the girl to agree to both of those things, and then getting a phone number. When these concepts are in place, you get a really powerful result. Not only is the girl like flirting back and like saying we should meet up, but like we already have date 1 and date 2 solidified at this point, right? So really good texting sequence. If you want to learn more about text game, online dating, social media mastery, check out my brand new mobile app. The link is in the description. It's called Quip. Okay, you can download that right now. I'm gonna teach you everything you need to know about these concepts. There's also live weekly coaching calls with me, and there's also the instant response feature. So you can upload screenshots of your text interactions, of your dating profiles. We'll analyze your screenshots and give you the exact messages that you need to send to the girl to get a perfect response, to get her out on a date, so you get more women and more dates going on in your life. All right, download that right now. The link is in the description. That's all for this video. Until next time, Coach Kyle signing out. Peace out, guys.